It's 7 o'clock Sunday evening, so I'm gonna paint something for you. I posted a picture of the Whimsical Christmas tree, and I'm gonna paint that today. It's a big piece, so I have it on my long table in front of me, and after I talk just a little bit, I will turn the camera down so that you can see, and then you won't see me, you'll just see me painting. But this tree has already, I think Ashley did the tree and did it very traditionally, and it's very beautiful that way. And if that's how you want to do it, go back and refer to Ashley's video on the Painters Club of how to do the very traditional tree. I wanted a little bit different take on it, and one of the reasons that I did is because over the years, each year I've purchased from Ashley and Mary one of the Grinch characters for my yard, but I never had a tree. So I thought this very whimsical kind of tree would look really good with my Grinch characters. So when you get the tree, I think it's $54, and you get a box of the lights too. When I got the tree, I knew that I wanted all of my lights to be red, and so I swapped out the multicolored lights so that I had all red bulbs except for one yellow in the star. So all of my bulbs are going to be red except for the star, which is going to be the yellow bulb. You could put a clear bulb in there if you chose to. But you get the lights, the holes are already drilled, and I will put those in later after I completely finish it and I get it glittered, and I'll post a picture for you to see the completely finished product. But for the tutorial, I didn't want it already glittered, and I didn't want the lights in it because it's kind of bulky and hard to handle. But you get the box of lights when you buy the tree, so you don't have to worry about the lights. And they come with multicolored lights. But I went to Home Depot and got just red ones and swapped them out. I did my tree lime green. So I used number 10 lime. And then I used a lot of number 20 red and number 35 white, number 37 black, and number 12 dark green. Those are the only colors I used. Those are the only colors I used. And so I base coated using a big mop brush. And I base coated. I'm going to post some photographs that I took as I was base coating so that you can see kind of my thought process and how I map things out. But I use this to put my lime green on, any kind of big mop brush that's real soft, and I did have to use 2 coats. I had primered first because I knew I wanted my border to be black and white, so I had primered first to make that a little bit easier. So I had to have 2 coats of the lime green. So I used the big mop brush. Then I used my script liners for details, and I used these 2 brushes, which are flats, because I could get hard edges with them. So I'm gonna pull the camera down and show you my tree, and we'll get started. And I dropped it. I'll have to excuse me just a minute and get it back on the holder. Pull it off. Okay. That's still up. Now you see my chair. Ah, here we go. Okay. Okay. Of course, this is the base. It is a big tree. So to get it all on here, I probably probably don't have a tall enough stool to put my camera on. But basically, I've done a black and white check, like a checkerboard, you could call it a stripe, around the outside edge. Then where the CNC cut lines are, I've painted all of those red and I put a white swirl on. And then I thought it was just a little bit plain, so I added some more red balls and I put the same swirl on those. And then I put my white highlights and my dark green highlights like it was for the other Christmas trees. I'll slide this down so you can see my star. It's going to be upside down. But I did the star exactly like Ashley did. Yellow, and I didn't show you my yellow. I did the star yellow and shading yellow around it with the white highlights. So I'm going to put this one away and let you see how I paint those checkerboards. I did one side of it already for you so that you could see my yellow is number 13 yellow for the star, and then the shading yellow is number 14 for the star. All right, I use this white, it's about a 3/4, maybe even a 1-inch brush, and I just followed the line of the tree with this brush to paint my white border. If it had a curve, I moved it as a curve. So this is how I got the white border on there. I'm going to show you some tape methods. If you don't feel comfortable just using your brush and letting your brush follow around, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, I'll post some photographs afterwards so that you can see how I taped and drew a pencil line to follow a pencil line. If you feel more comfortable with a pencil line. I use this same brush to brush in my red circles. And because I had base coated white, it took me 3 coats of red to get a good coverage of red. Alright, I went to a smaller brush, a little 1/2-inch brush. It's not crucial which size. You could have used this brush if you chose to make your black, but I happened to pick up this brush because I was letting this one get clean. So shake up your paint, load your brush. I'll move. It doesn't matter exactly where you start. I'll start right here. Start at, when I painted the green, I came up to my white line to paint my green base coat. So I'm going to outline later. So if it doesn't match up perfectly, that's okay, because you're going to get a cover line on that later. But I just start perpendicular to the edge. Just pull back, trying to get those lines as straight as possible. Move this over just slightly. Okay, maybe you can see it there better. And then I just eyeball it. You could measure it if you choose to, but I just eyeball it. And you want to get plenty of paint on there. You can come back and put a second coat on there if you don't get plenty of paint. But if you get enough paint on your brush and you use a very light stroke, not pressing down very much, you'll get enough paint on there and you won't have to put that second coat on there. So just pull back, letting the brush do the work for you. Now, when you have a curve, you have to think about how that stripe would go. So I want that stripe to be kind of a pie shape. So I get a side, using the side of my brush, and make that pie shape. And you can see this side is a little bit wider than that side. That's not a big deal. You're going to see it from the street. Nobody's going to come up here and measure that anyway. Don't be real upset if it's not absolutely perfect. Just have fun doing it. And this is very whimsical and very fun. And right here in the middle, I made a straight line on this side and a straight line on this side and filled in to go inside the point of that star. Okay, I'll slide this up slightly. Okay, I've got a point here, so I want to come down again straight and fan that out and fill in my little pie-shaped pieces. You're going to have these little pie-shaped pieces in your pointed corners. Then you can come in here and do a straight one. And then you'll have another pie-shaped piece. Get that straight. Then I've got a pie-shaped piece this way. These little curves, don't be put off by them. They're, when you think of them as a pie shape, and then you're just filling in. And just put plenty of paint in there. You can come back and add paint if it didn't cover up enough the first stroke. And then here it's straight again. I didn't take the metal off the back of this one, and so it rocks a little bit. But I kind of like that because it keeps it up off the table, and I don't get a lot in the table. So another pie-shaped piece. Move it up for you. And then right in here, I'm going to add one like this, because I've got that big, long tip of that branch. And you just work your way all the way around the tree. I painted the other side ahead of time because this does take a little bit of time. It's all repeating the same motion. There's not anything new that you have to do once you get started. Is you just want to decide how you want that piece to go to make your checkerboard. Not really a checkerboard. I guess it's more stripes. I'm calling it a checkerboard, but it's really more stripes. But just like that, all the way around the tree. Now I've already got this side, so while I've got my black out, I'm going to turn this completely around so I can get to this side. And I'm going to take my script liner and my black. Now this side's already dry. But I'm going to come right along the edge with my script liner. And I'm just going to follow between that green. And when I've got that script liner, if I find there's a place that didn't cover up really good with the black, I can just take that script liner, touch it up. See, there's a little bit of green I got right there. So just cover that over. So then you're going to outline all the way around with this script liner. Paint needs a little bit more water in it. You know what I did last night? I was painting last night and the dark got me. I was painting outside because it was such a pretty night. It wasn't real hot. And the phone rang and I had the phone inside, so I ran inside and I did not cover my black paint. I left the lid off, the black paint. And didn't go back outside. Didn't even think about it. This morning, when I went out, here was my lid sitting there. A skim had formed across the top. I took a paper towel, picked that skim up, and that paint all underneath was perfect. Did not have to do a thing. It just made a little skim across the top. So this is a really good quality paint. And if you mess up like I did and you leave it outside and you forget to put the lid on, you haven't lost your whole entire thing of paint. It just makes a little skim right across the top. Okay, can you see how I outlined that? So that's all I'm going to do on this part because I want to show you other parts of this. And that's just repeated all the way around. So you're just going to do that script liner and you're just going to outline all the way around. I'm going to use my script liner with my dark green and I'm going to put my highlights for my tree. And the reason I'm doing that now before I do this is I want to have a place left to put those red balls. So I want this green outline to be done first so I'll kind of know where I want to put those balls rather than having to work around them later. So I'm just thinking about how the tree limbs would come down, and with this script liner, just letting that come down. Do one on that side, one over here. Here, far enough up you can see. If you have any questions, I'll answer them later. I'm not good at answering while I'm painting. I wish I was, and I admire Ashley and Mary that they can answer your questions as they are painting, because I'm just not good at that at all. Now this piece is big and I'm inside because it's getting dark earlier, so I'm painting inside. but it takes up a lot of space to paint. All right, now let's see, I better put one on this side. That's pretty good for my green ones, because I'm also going to add white ones. The white really makes your piece pop, so you don't forget about adding that white highlight. So I'm going to get my white, and I kind of let that echo where I put my green ones. Not exactly a repeat, but in the same area. I try to make them a little bit different. Here, maybe I'm going to put it on this side. Then I'll do one more right over here. Now, while I've got that white out, but I've got those white highlights in there, I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll put some red balls in between. I make this spiral around the center. So just start at one place. It doesn't matter exactly where. I find if you do semicircles, rather than trying to go all the way around, it makes it a little bit easier to get that spiral. If you have really good eye-hand coordination, you probably can go all the way around, but I do semicircles. And these don't have to be perfect. You just want that spiral look. And I'm going to outline in my CNC line with black. So if I have an area I don't think is quite as smooth, go back. I'll do one more. Doesn't matter where you start, you're just going around that opening for your light. Got a little wide on that one, just even it out. Just like that. So you'll fill all those in with your spiral. Now I'm going to do my red balls, and I'll show you how I do those to make it really easy. Let's see. Maybe this brush. Let's shake it a little bit more. You could draw a circle put something down. You could even use one of these and draw around it if you don't feel competent to do them freehand. But it's easy to do a freehand circle. Just let your brush curve around. Put your brush down and just spin it. Just spin that brush and you've got a freehand circle. Just turn that brush till you get all your edges even. And then you've got your freehand circle. You want to get a little bigger? Do the same thing. You're just spinning in a bigger circle. Get a little bigger one. Just like that. So put one right down here. Now these will have to dry before I put my spiral in them, but it's exactly the same thing as putting the spiral on these. But just spin that brush. And like I said, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, practice it on a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard or something ahead of time and see how you feel about it. But you can always trace around an item to get your circle if that makes you feel more comfortable. Don't do something that's out of your comfort zone. Make sure you feel comfortable about what you're doing, because painting needs to be fun. You want to push yourself. You want to do some extra things just to grow, because if you don't make mistakes, you don't grow. Okay, I've got to do my star up here. So I'm going to take my shading yellow. And I want to come right on the edge of this star. Make sure my line is pretty even. Then I want to come into the center, just like that. Then I'll also put a white highlight beside it. The white highlight does not show up a lot, but I do think it helps to have that white highlight on there. Just like that, and I've got my white highlight in there. Then when you put that yellow bulb in the center here, that's going to sparkle. And I'm going to glitter the whole piece when I poly it. So that's all there is to it on painting this whimsical Christmas tree. It is, I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to show you the whole thing standing up. There it is. That's a completed one. It does not take a long time to do it. I think the checkerboard is probably the most time consuming going around, but it's an easy paint. I think it's a fun looking tree. It's different, depending on what you like, whether you like the traditional or whether you like something that's a little bit more avant-garde or a little bit whimsical. I think Whimsical has been a big hit this year, so you might try that. What color red did I use, Wanda? I used the number 20 red, just the plain number 20 red. If you have any questions, ask them after this video is over. I'll come back and I'll answer them. And I'm going to post how I did the checkerboard line around it using tape, so that those of you that don't feel really comfortable about freehanding it can see how I did it with tape. I think this is going to be real fun in the yard with all the Grinch stuff. So I hope you all have fun painting. Go by the store, pick up these trees. They've got them in stock. Like I said, they're $54. They come with the lights, so you can't beat that. Y'all have a great week. I'm going to paint again midweek on a pumpkin. I'm working on the sunflower pumpkin, and then I've got a little extra other pumpkin that I'm going to throw in there, because Mary already did the sunflower pumpkin, and it's really hard to improve on what she did with it. I'm trying to do something different, but I had to throw in something else to pique your interest. So stay tuned. Come see us paint again. Hope y'all have a great Sunday evening, a great week. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.